Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of UPressPlay Sports. I'm your host and sports editor, Richard Pereira. Joining me today is photo editor Eston Parker and staff writer Kevin Garcia. Hello, guys. How's it been going today?
It's going great, man. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty well.
Yeah, we got a pretty good episode for us today. But to start off, we'll have to start off with a down for today, especially with FU football, as they went to Norfolk, Virginia on Saturday, November 13, and they lost 30-16 to the Old Dominion Monarchs, which involved 3 safeties allowed from the Owls' end. Guys, what do you think went down in this game that just couldn't allow FU to get into rhythm?
Well, I think the passing game struggled with that. I would say that's the really a biggest weakness, and we've been saying this for weeks. And we have the news now that Hines Ward is going to be taking over as receiving coach. So I'm curious to see how that what effect that change will have on us, especially in the passing game. Like Hines Ward is a seasoned veteran; he's an NFL great. He's going to work with these guys, and hopefully he can unlock something that we haven't seen yet throughout the first number of weeks in the season. The rushing game is on point. And Kosi Perry, when he's able to find space, he is efficient with his passes. But there were also some big drops too that I noticed. But I mean, when you have a score of 4-3 going into the second half, it's ugly on both sides. But I mean, the Old Dominion was able to put it together. They were able to put up points, and we weren't, point blank.
But yeah, Kevin, that 4-3 score was beautiful scoregami. I wish the score stay like that, as long as FU was on the winning side of things.
Right.
But yeah, Eston, what did you think of FU's performance?
I mean, really going off of what Kevin said. The biggest thing for me is the receivers got to catch the ball. It's as simple as that. There's been a lot of drop passes all season, which I feel like it's a fixable issue. And I mean, Perry's putting him in the right places. He still didn't throw an interception, which he's done a really good job of protecting the ball. So at least in that regard, we haven't had to worry about that. Thankfully, our running game looked really strong again. But yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm looking forward to with Hines Ward becoming our wide receiver coach is can he help eliminate the drops our receivers have been having all season?
Yeah, definitely. It's been pretty rough for receiving end, and they're making the change now with Willie Taggart replacing Joey Thomas to put Hines Ward in that position. So it's pretty clear that they're trying to address an issue that has been annoying them all season. And with 2 games remaining and their chances of a bowl game still in reach, and the decision makes sense, but hopefully it works out for them. And throughout the game, Kosi Perry threw 12 for 21 for 187 yards and a passing touchdown. And Johnny Ford, best performer on the rushing end as always, ran for 101 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. And then you have Brandon Robinson at the receiving end with a 59-yard receiving touchdown. So there are bright spots on FU's team. What matters is that they have to score more and be more consistent on the defensive end. And the next game is on the road again. On Saturday, November 20 in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They will have to see Big Red against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, and that game will be broadcast on Stadium. What are our thoughts going into this game that FEU could have an edge over Western Kentucky?
I want to see I know this is a big homecoming game for Coach Willie Taggart. I want to see him really come out to play for this one. I want to see a good game plan, a good scheme. And we got to see the receivers. I mean, we're beating a dead horse with this, but we got to see the receivers step up, and hopefully everything goes well on that end.
I mean, I want to see them rebound. I want to see what this team is made of, because they're, I mean, if they lose this, it's in free fall mode. I don't want to see that happen, but huge game. They got to win, got to get bowl eligible.
Yeah, got to bounce back. And moving on from FU football, we have Fmu basketball as they completed their first week of regular season play. And we're starting off with the men's. They kicked off their season opener on the road in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as they lost 99-92 to the University of New Mexico. But they did bounce back in their home opener against Warner University with a 78-56 win. So with this 1-1 start to the season, what are our takes so far?
So as far as the first game against New Mexico, but Michael Forrest was he stood out. I believe he had 26 points in that game. The problem there was that we lost the lead in the fourth quarter. That's always tough to see. But I know the head coach mentioned that he liked how everyone was engaged, and that's always a good thing to see when guys are engaged and not holding their head down. And yeah, that was overall it was a back and forth game, but then to come out and just dominate Warner the way that we did, and it was really a complete effort on both sides of the ball. It was good to see. And then I like the complete effort.
Yeah, I mean, Forrest has been playing really well to start off the season, and not only is he leading the team in scoring, but another stat which kind of surprised me is, I mean, he leads the team in rebounds, in total rebounds, which I would expect either Kapiti or Vladislav Golden to lead so far. Granted, I mean, we're 2 games in, so it's a very small sample size, but still, he currently leads the team with 13 total rebounds. He's actually tied, with Batumba Baruti, but I've been impressed with this team. Obviously, we have a huge game coming up later today, but I think that this team definitely already has more depth. And when Nick Boyd comes back from his injury, which should be, he told me at the game against Warner that he should be back in mid-December. So hopefully by the time he comes back, that's an extra little bit of depth that we're going to add to, I think, on paper, a very talented team and an experienced team too.
Yeah. So FAU has looked pretty good on offense, especially against New Mexico. Like, they had a balanced offense that allowed them to get to 92 points. But the issue with them on that game was the defense. And well, credit to New Mexico. They had some very good players play very well, especially Jalen House, who dropped a 30-piece, which is very rare in college basketball, which is not very often that you see that in college basketball. But hey, that's a good game on his part and helped New Mexico win. And FAU had to bounce back on that with the win against Warner, which was a pretty good bounce back on the defensive side of the ball, like only allowing 56 points. So it's pretty good that FAU has a more overall balanced squad. It's just a matter of finding that consistency as the season goes on. And yes, the men's basketball team has some very anticipated games, especially at home, as they have a 9-game homestand, as they already got past the first game against Warner. As on Tuesday, November 16th, they will take on the Miami Hurricanes at home at 6 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. And what are your thoughts going into this game that would be pretty big for FAU?
I mean, this is the first time that we've hosted men's basketball in 19 years. Obviously, we are facing, I would say, the biggest school in South Florida. And with basketball, Miami usually is a very strong team, still coached by Jim Larrañaga, who is, I think, one of the most underappreciated coaches in college basketball. He develops talent really well. His teams are usually very cohesive. They play well together. So I think this will be huge game, not only just for FAU, like for the season, but for the program. If we get this win today, I think this will be Dusty May's biggest win of his career so far with FAU. So, and speaking to a couple of the players yesterday, they're excited. They have a lot of confidence coming into this game. So hopefully it will result in a victory for FAU. So
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that this will be a big game, and hopefully they can come out with a win. They, we are the underdogs coming into this game. They are the underdogs coming into the game, but yeah, best of luck to them. And they do have some up and coming players from for FAU starting the season, especially with besides Forrest, you have Elijah Martin and Brandon Weatherspoon on the come up. Brian Greenlee is returning from he's starting to get settled in, returning from injury, and hopefully FAU stuns Miami at the right time. And after the Miami game, they will play UT Martin on Friday, November 19th at 6 p.m. at home. And then after that, they play North Dakota on Saturday, November 20. And on Monday, November 22nd, they will take on Troy University. So got a pretty good homestand for FAU fans. And yeah, got to go out and cheer them on. And then next from men's basketball, we have women's basketball, as they also started their first week of regular season play, played their first 2 games, and they took both of their home victories, taking down Palm Beach Atlantic 88-41 on November 10 on Wednesday, and then keeping it up with an 85-65 victory over Bethune-Cookman on Sunday, November 14. So it's a pretty good start for FAU women's basketball, especially with their first-year head coach, Jennifer Sullivan. So, Eston, what are your takes on FAU's performance to start the season at 2-0?
So one of my biggest concerns coming into the season was, where was the offensive production going to come from? Obviously losing Iggy Allen, the GOAT, I'd say, of women's basketball for FAU. I mean, that was a tough loss for us. So, and I wanted to see how Coach Sullivan would perform to start off her collegiate career as a head coach. I think she's done an excellent job. I think that, granted, we've played 2 teams which I feel that we should have won, that we should have beat. And they've taken care of that. They look balanced, they look strong, and even in the moments where, they're up to the challenge. So coming up against also on Thursday, right? Yeah. So I think this will be this could be a huge tone setter, not only just for the season, but also for Coach Sullivan. I mean, you talk about getting a huge win, not only for your program, but for your career early on like this. It could be huge. But again, going up against I'm hoping we win, but I'm not expecting it. But I do expect us to be competitive. I do expect us to, keep it close, because UM's women's team is usually really, really, really good. So and so far they're 3-0 this season. I mean, but in all of our games, so far we've only played 2, but we've scored 88 and 85 in our 2 regular season games. Their women's team, in their 3 games so far, the most they've scored is 72. So I'd say realistically, we have a chance against them. I think they realistically could do it. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the 3-point shooting has been key on that side of the ball. I mean, 50% shooting 50% from the field from 3. That's just incredible. I mean, if we could even if that regresses a little bit, but to 40% or something, and we could still be competitive, like you said, against Miami. But it is going to be tough. They're a tough school. But yeah, I mean, I like what we've seen so far. I like what I've seen so far out of the first 2 games.
Yeah, I do like the balanced scoring attack that the women's team has put in place, as pretty much everybody has a chance to score many points. It's pretty much the next one up. And they're really stepping up to the plate and really taking it to their opponents. And yes, they will take on Miami on the road in Coral Gables on Thursday, November 18 at 6 p.m. And after that, they will take on the University of North Florida on Sunday, November 21 at 9:30 in the morning. So early morning game for women's basketball on that day. But hey, if they can keep up their start to the season, there's no telling where they can go. Sky's the limit for them. And best of luck to them especially against Miami on the road. And for our final section of FU sports, we have FU men's soccer. Last week they played the entire Conference USA tournament as they beat Charlotte in the quarterfinals via penalty kicks 5-3. As they advanced to the semifinals, they took down Marshall, who was ranked 4th in the nation and defending NCAA champions, 3-1 in normal time. And they were 30 minutes away from reaching their first ever NCAA tournament in the Conference USA title game against the University of Kentucky. They were up 1-0, but then Kentucky equalized with a penalty shot and got the game winner in extra time to win the title in favor of the Wildcats. So it was a memorable tournament run for the Owls. And Eston, what a season it was for the men's team. Like they did not get selected in the selection for the tournament bracket, but it was still a season that really gained them a lot of respect, especially as the tournament went on and they really turned some people's heads.
Yeah, I mean, I really, like you said, Richard, really impressive season. I think this has been our best season since, was it 2007 when we last made the...
It was 2007. That was the last time we reached a title game of a conference tournament. So,
and I mean, you talk about changing the trajectory of this program. I mean, we've been looking good the last couple seasons, and this season I would say has been the biggest jump. And you have a good balance of, you have your older, more experienced players or seniors like Neil Strauber and Alonso Camarero, who will unfortunately be departing, but the program's in great hands. I don't think Mikolenko will be back, but Philippe Jock will be back. That will be huge. The towering tank that is Philippe Jock. David Romero in the midfield will hold it down, controls the ball really well, and is able to progress it forward. And even in the back, I mean, Vasily Spinos, along with guys like Chad Miotti, there's a lot of talent. Say again?
Brain Pratt.
True. And wait,
yeah,
was he not a senior this season?
Nope, he was a junior.
Oh wow. Okay, so even better. So there's still a wealth of experience that this team has going into next year. So a really exciting season. Had a lot of fun watching them, and in the future, for the next few years, this could definitely be a team that will compete for conference titles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this season was a great experience for FU soccer fans, as the first half of the season was easily their best start in years, like a 6-1-1 start in the first half of the season. And while they couldn't maintain that type of start, especially in the second half, once conference play really set in, especially against the better teams in Conference USA, FAU still managed to qualify for the tournament and really got a lot of respect in the tournament, especially after beating Charlotte and Marshall, defending champions no less. So with the senior class maybe departing or maybe staying for another year with an extra year of eligibility, who knows? But next season is going to be a very interesting one to see how they can build off of this season, and the outlook for them is pretty good. And that will finish off our topic of FU sports, and we'll talk about the national level. And starting with the NFL, they finished week 10 of regular season play. And so, guys, what games have you watched that really got you hyped? And I know Eston was happy with the Dolphins beating the Ravens. That's a pretty big win for you.
It was worth getting back to my apartment at 2 a.m. for. That was a fun game. Yeah. Atmosphere was great. It was really nice to wave goodbye to all the Ravens fans who hopefully didn't pay too much money to watch Lamar Jackson have no one to throw the ball to. And yeah, I'm amazed. I guess Tua should play more with a fractured middle finger too. But also, we'll say the Ravens are decimated all around. Like they're missing a lot of players in their secondary. Obviously, they lost all their 3 starting running backs in the beginning of the season. But we beat a team that's 6-2. Well, that's now 6-3. So you know what? I'll take it.
Oh man, yeah. No, that was that was an interesting game. I mean, it started off slow, but then once the Dolphins got rolling, boy, did they get rolling. But yeah, a game that got me hyped was seeing Cam Newton back. Super Cam is back. Panthers blew out the Cardinals. Cardinals, they're ravaged by injuries, but that's not really the story. Cam Newton's back and better than ever. But I want to ask you, Rich, your Patriots, are they the best team now in the AFC after they just blew out the Browns?
That I don't know, because they're still Buffalo. They're still on a good start. They pretty much, of course, the Patriots are tied with them for first in the division, but the edge probably still goes to the Bills. But yeah.
You have to play them twice still, right?
I
believe so.
I don't know about the schedule, but if we do beat the Bills at least once, the Patriots do have a chance of topping the division. So, but yeah, I didn't like the win over the Browns 45-7. As much as it disappoints me, because I do want to see Cleveland in the playoffs. But hey, it's the Patriots. Gotta be happy with the win. And the Dolphins starting to recover a bit with 2 straight wins. Well, for you, Kevin, the Giants had a chill week as they didn't play any games, a bye week.
Yeah, I can't break my heart on a bye week, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, a bye week is your best friend.
Oh yeah, exactly. We got the Buccaneers this week, baby. Let's go. Going down to Tampa. We're gonna have an angry Tom Brady that just lost to the Washington team. So yeah, that's fun. Can't wait for that one.
Oh, that would be an interesting game. But yeah, didn't really watch much of NFL stuff, but I know about the scores, and seeing Tom Brady lose to the team that has no mascot name because it's the football team. that is always funny. And for our last topic today is NBA. Fourth week has passed, and still the Warriors are still looking good as the best team in the Western Conference and in the league. My Celtics are starting to recover as they're back to a 50-50 record. The Knicks and Bulls still doing fine. The Heat are still doing good. And the Lakers are still suffering losses despite being in the playoff picture still. So what games from the NBA has really got us?
I mean, yesterday the Bulls beating the Lakers 121 to 103. I think, and again, it's still early. There's still a lot of things that can change, and assuming they stay healthy. But the Bulls are actually a really good team. I mean, they have been taking care of business. They beat the Lakers. They beat the Warriors. This team is good. I mean, DeMar DeRozan dropped 38 last night. Lonzo Ball looks really good. Got 27 points and 8 assists, 7 rebounds. Even guys like, I didn't even realize Derrick Jones Jr. is with the Bulls. This team has depth. not to mention somehow. So it's exciting to see even more parity this season. I mean, there's so many good teams. It is so tough to make a call, but it's exciting. This has been a really exciting season.
And you are right about that parity, Eston. Like, we literally have teams in the East that we did not expect to be at the top or in the playoff picture at all. Like the Washington Wizards and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mhm.
That's a surprise.
Oh yeah.
Especially Washington. They are top of the East right now with the balanced squad of Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Kentavious Caldwell Pope. It's been very interesting to see how Washington was able to get on the start and not look back. They are on a 5-game winning streak. So very impressive start from their end. And then you look at Cleveland, with Colin Sexton and Darius Garland and a rookie in Evan Mobley, who has played very well for them.
Is Sexton back? I think they're doing. I thought he was injured. I think they're doing it without him.
He's injured for the moment. Like he's out at the moment, but when healthy, the Cavs are actually a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And Darius Garland, Shetty Osman, and as I said, Evan Mobley. Those three has been really doing well for them, and not to mention Ricky Rubio.
Yep.
I don't know
Yep.
how he's doing it. Like,
I know.
How is he doing so good to the point that players have to like, oh, we got to defend him now. He's dropping threes on us. Like he
I don't know.
plus points on the Celtics as I watched the fourth quarter of that game, and I don't know how Rubio's doing it off the bench as pretty much a 6-man. Let's be honest, but he's obviously one of the reasons why the Cavs have stayed in the playoff picture so far, which is impressive.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think on the Western Conference, yeah, you have the Warriors who are doing well, but how about the Phoenix Suns? They've won 9 games in a row after dropping. I think they dropped their first 3, and then they've won 9 in a row. They're atop the Western Conference. They're right where we thought they'd belong. Brooklyn has got it going on the Eastern side. Like it's just things are starting to settle. The conferences are starting to take shape. Things are starting to look normal compared to where we expected them to be going into the season. You know, like early on, Brooklyn wasn't looking good. Phoenix wasn't looking good, but really the Lakers are the only team that are trailing behind. But how about the Clippers, though? What do you guys think about that? The Clippers, too, they're going in. They don't have Kawhi Leonard and they're still winning games.
Well, even without Kawhi, the Clippers are still relatively a good team, but they still got Paul George. They got Reggie Jackson. They got Terrence Mann. Like, they still got great players on the team. It's just without Kawhi, it's not as easy as being in the top 3 as it would be with him. So it makes sense to see where the Clippers are at now at the 6th spot, just over the Lakers by 1. But yeah, Brooklyn and Golden State will play against each other. So pretty big game for
That's tonight, right?
Yes, on TNT. So TNT game, you already know what what it is. And yeah, that would be a very good big game from Golden State and Brooklyn, like to see who's the best team, like on paper in the league with this game. So yeah, we'll see how it goes down from there. And with that, that'll be it for this episode of UPressPlay Sports. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Click the bell to keep up with notifications from us. And also be sure to go on upressonline.com to keep up with news, sports, and more content alike. To follow us on Twitter, it's for me at Rich26 Pereira. For Eston, it's at Eston Parker. And for Kevin, at Kevin Gar 658. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.